Cablenet Sports presents high school football. Today's game is between the Libertyville Wildcats and the Hersey Huskies. Today's game is brought to you in part by Superior Exteriors and by Sabatello Tree Service. And good afternoon. Welcome to Hersey High School in Arlington Heights. Bert Groner along with Bob Hillman here this afternoon for this 6A playoff game, the quarterfinals of the IHSA playoffs this afternoon. And we've got a good game lined up for you this afternoon. Hersey with a record of 9-2 against Libertyville with a record of 8 wins and 3 losses. Bob, a perfect November day for a football game.
It's a beautiful day for football, Bert. Winds blowing. It's a little bit brisk going east to west. That could play a factor in the football game.
All right, first we'll take a look at the Libertyville Wildcats, coached by Dale Christensen. 8-3 coming in. They like to keep the ball on the ground 70% of the time on the ground. How are they going to have to do it today?
And you just said they're going to have to keep the football on the ground, Bert, because they're going to have to play ball control against a very outstanding Hersey offense. Hersey is led by number 36, the running back Greg Vick, and quarterback Duke Tobin, number 9. So defensively, Libertyville is going to have to contain running back Greg Vick and at the same time force Duke Tobin to pass. Duke Tobin is a good quarterback, but he has thrown 14 interceptions, so he is vulnerable in that area, and hopefully Libertyville can create those turnovers, get the ball back, and play ball control again.
All right, and the wind today blowing east to west definitely against Hersey today.
Definitely should be, and of course it'll be tough to place kick and kick field goals. Could come down to a winning field goal, and the wind could be a factor.
All right, the interesting matchup to watch for today, number 79, the offensive tackle, Mike Feiston for Libertyville against number 73, Frank Comet, the big defensive tackle for Hersey, a key matchup in the trenches this afternoon. It should be an outstanding football game, and we'll have the opening kickoff of today's game coming up for you in just a moment. Stay tuned.
If you spent too much to heat your home last winter, consider this. 60% of all heat loss is through windows. Replace your old windows with new thermal-insulated replacement windows from Superior Exteriors of Park Ridge. Double-pane thermal-insulated windows keep warm air in and cold air out. Beautiful wood replacement windows. Easy to clean, energy efficient. Only $150 installed. $150 installed. Only at Superior Exteriors of Park Ridge. Top quality at an affordable price.
Hi, I'm Earl Lewis, and this is Grassroots. Join us this month as my guests and I delve into a very controversial subject, the role of religion in politics.
Welcome back to Hersey High School in Arlington Heights. Bert Groner along with Bob Hillman. The Hersey High School Marching Band trotting off the field on a perfect November day for a football game, and we're just a few moments away from the opening kickoff of this afternoon's quarterfinal game. There are 8 teams left in the IHSA playoffs, and one of them will advance to the semifinals at the 6A level here this afternoon.
And the winner goes on to meet the winner of the Elgin-Naperville game.
That's kind of the outfit you'd want to wear if the Husky mascot hat on today. The temperature does drop.
And I'll tell you something, the home field advantage, especially in the playoffs, is going to be a big factor, I think. You know, there's a pro-Hersey crowd here, and when you're playing on your home field and you're familiar with all the little ins and outs and subtleties of the football field, I think it's going to definitely help Hersey this afternoon. Also, emotion's going to play a big factor. Sometimes in the quarterfinal game, when you're in the playoffs, you get too emotionally high, and then you get drained by the time the first half is over. You really have to pace yourself, because if you're drained by the time the first half is over, then sometimes you have nothing left for the second half.
That's a good point. And Libertyville is a team that plays a lot on emotion. Dale Christensen, their head coach, a very intense individual in his 17th year. And Libertyville, I think, will have to be careful of that, not to get too emotional. As you said, Bob, you can get drained. And I think it's tough for a coach to get their kids ready for a playoff game, because you've got to nurse them along in order for them to play their best football.
I think once a team gets to this level, Bert, there's no question about it that they're good. They know what they have to do. They know what their game plan is going in, or they wouldn't be here. The problem is who's going to execute the best. I know it's an old cliche, but basically it will probably boil down to the team that executes the game plan best, that stays away from turnovers and makes the fewest mistakes. And it could boil down to a big play, and that would favor Hersey, because Hersey has an outstanding field goal kicker, and John Bookout has kicked one 48 yards. And also, of the 22 touchdowns that Hersey has scored, 22 of those touchdowns have come from beyond the 20-yard line. So they're capable of coming up with a big play, and in a close game, it could very well boil down to that.
Yeah, they are a very explosive football team, the Hersey Huskies. Overall, 9-2 on the year. That's the schedule. You see the score of the last game, 30-7 against Lions. That was the game they won last week, 30-7. And, of course, a tough game for the junior quarterback of the LaGrange Lions, Brant Wojcik, who tossed 3 interceptions that game, but against a very tough Hersey defense.
They're an offensive machine. Hersey's averaging 31 points per game, so they know how to put the points on the board, and they know how to put the points on the board in a hurry when you got a quarterback like Duke Tobin who can throw and a running back like Greg Vick who can run. Vick, by the way, is averaging 5.5 points per carry. As we said in the opening, Duke Tobin is an outstanding quarterback. He has thrown for 12 touchdowns, but he's also thrown for 14 interceptions. And Libertyville is hoping they can create those turnovers, get the ball back, and as we said, run the football, take some time off the clock, get a lead. Because I think if Libertyville gets down to this Hersey team, as explosive as Hersey is, they're going to be in a lot of trouble to try to play catch-up on the home field against a team as explosive as Hersey High School.
I agree, 100%. It's important for them to get a lead in this football game and not have to come from behind as the Huskies march out onto the field. They've completed their pregame warm-ups. They're just getting ready to be introduced here to the crowd.
For those people who don't know, quarterback Duke Tobin of Hersey High School is the son of Bill Tobin, who is the personnel director for the Chicago Bears, and the nephew of Vince Tobin, who is the defensive coordinator.
That's Bruce Glover and the rest of his Huskies. Very loose. Talked to him before the game. First, taking a look at the Libertyville schedule, and interesting, they won their last game 13-7 over Zion Benton, a team that they had lost to earlier in the year, 21-19. But they came back and played a pretty good football team. And interesting, Bob, the factor of the quality of competition in the North Suburban League. I think that the Mid-Suburban League overall is a better conference top to bottom. But the top teams in the North Suburban League, like Lake Forest, Zion Benton, and Libertyville, I think are as good as any teams in the area. And I think it's indicated by the fact Lake Forest last week advanced to the quarterfinals. They beat Deerfield. So I think that the elite in that conference are as good as any teams around.
We're going to see two good defensive teams today. Hersey's defense allowing only 13 points per game, and Libertyville's defense has allowed only 10 points per game. Of course, Libertyville is facing a very, very potent offensive attack in Hersey High School this afternoon. You say it's a great day here in November. I would expect it to be much chillier. The temperature, I would say, probably in the mid-50s for this game, and the only variable probably is going to be the wind, which means that Libertyville, and playing their ball control, probably have to run much of the time because it's going to be tough to pass in this wind. And if they do pass, they're going to have to go with short passes.
That is referee Sam Daniels, the man with the white cap in the middle, talking to Chris Deerhog, Mark Gunther, the captains out on the field, John Gilliam.
So we're about ready to go. They're lining up middle of the field. We should have the kickoff very soon. It's often said you can't beat high school football, can you, Bert?
No, especially at this time of the year. That's when the emotion really flows, and you see really the best football of the year at this time. And I think a lot of people might be surprised. I know I've been wrong before, Bob, but a lot of people are thinking this might be an easy game for Hersey, or that Hersey will win big, but I think it'll be a close football game.
And as we said, the winner of this game goes on to meet Elgin and Naperville. Should Hersey win, this will be their final home game because they will have to go on the road. However, if Libertyville wins, they will be at home. So we're all set to go in this quarterfinal game, Class 6A, Hersey and Libertyville.
John Bookout will kick off. Hersey won the coin toss, but they elected to kick, which shows you that the win is a definite factor here this afternoon.
Absolutely.
John Bookout, their outstanding kicker, will do the kicking duties from his 40-yard line into a wind that's blowing east to west. It must be at least 12 to 15 miles an hour out there. It's a strong wind that'll play a part in the football game this afternoon. John Schatzholzer and Brian Poramsky, the two deep men for the Libertyville Wildcats, and we're set for this quarterfinal game from Hersey High School in Arlington Heights.
And Poramsky has to have a good game for Libertyville, no question, since he's going to be running the football a lot of the time. He has to have a good game for Libertyville.
This is a spiral that's taken and dropped. Mike Hall, nevertheless, gets a good return out across the 30 to the 33-yard line, and the Wildcats will start on offense 1st and 10.
Well, this is the time the adrenaline's really going. Everyone's pumped up, start of a football game. Everyone a little bit emotionally high. You got to really be careful not to make many mistakes when you're emotional at this point of the game. Line up pretty quickly.
Poramsky and Jay Kotzman, the two backs in the first play. This is Poramsky, quick opener, across the 45 to the 48-yard line. That's a nice way to start the football game.
Got a penalty flag go back to the line of scrimmage, Bert.
A little too anxious.
Yep. There you go. That's what we were just saying. When you get emotional and you're playing with a lot of emotion, sometimes you will make those mistakes, but I'm sure both teams will settle down.
The numbers on Poramsky, very good. You see a little better than a 5-yard average, 5 touchdowns. He was sick last week in their game against Zion Benton, and he did play, but he did not play a lot, and he was not that effective this week. He's okay. Touch of the flu, I understand, for him, but he is about 100% today, so the penalty costs him 5. First down and 15 from the 28-yard line.
Danny Gilliam, number 3, made the initial lift. He was counted by number 22, Kurt Danza. About a 10-yard gain.
They are snapping the ball. They actually are snapping the ball. Yeah, they're snapping it to Poramsky. They're really going without a quarterback. And there it goes. They are going without a quarterback.
Dale Christensen with a twist. Their starter is Todd Anderson, and they are snapping the ball to the halfback. That's unusual. I don't think Hersey expected to see that.
And basically, they're really hurrying up. They're really doing it with no huddle, and they're really coming out and trying to confuse Hersey.
3rd and 2.
Here we go again. Flags out of the line of scrimmage.
We'll wait for the announcement from Sam Daniels.
The procedure against Libertyville. And they're really making all kinds of mistakes on this first possession.
What I want to know, Bob, is if you're going with a quarterback most of the year and you're a team that has an 8-3 record, why change going into a playoff game?
Well, because basically I think they know that Hersey is a formidable opponent, and they've got to do something to shake it up and give themselves a different look. That one's fumbled and recovered by Poramsky, but for a huge loss. You know, maybe this is something they just decided to do fairly recently, and maybe the kids are just not used to this. Or they're going to have to give up the football.
I think that's kind of taking a tentative attitude, and I think...
Basically, I've always felt that you do, and you do what you do best, and do what you do with what got you here.
That would be my philosophy. This is Schatzholzer to kick, left-footed kicker.
Very short punt.
Deerhawk fumbled the football, but I think recovered it at his 45-yard line. We'll get a look at the Hersey Huskies on offense. They'll start 1st and 10. It's officially spotted at the 46-yard line. And a look at the junior quarterback, Duke Tobin, who...
Well, at least we know that Hersey's got a quarterback in there.
Yeah. And Tobin is pretty easy to keep your eyes on.
Remember, they're going to have to contain Greg Vick. We'll see if they go right to the ground. Probably try to establish their running game early. There you go. They pitch it to Vick.
They try the right side of the Wildcat defense. He gains 7 yards to the 49-yard line.
Greg Vick is averaging 5.5 yards per carry. He scored 8 touchdowns. Just a note on the offensive line for Hersey. You know, one of the reasons they've turned it around, last year they were 1-8, this year they're 9-2, is because they've got 5 seniors now on their offensive line, and the whole team has matured. It's kind of a senior-oriented team, so the experience has really paid off this year for Hersey.
Tobin, bit of a sprint out, had the ball almost picked off by Kirk Christensen, the linebacker. Dangerous pass into a wind.
There you see the stats on Duke Tobin. He's thrown for 12 touchdowns, but as we said at the head of the show, he's also thrown for 14 interceptions, and Libertyville would like to capitalize and try to create some turnovers.
3rd and 5, Tobin behind center Clay Chapman. At midfield, that's Johnson going in motion. Tobin looks. They got a yard out of all that. Brian Kolisinski made the tackle for the Wildcats, but the Huskies will punt it away here.
That's got to be a big lift for Libertyville to be able to contain Hersey, at least on the first possession. And you gain some confidence when you do that, because you know you can contain them, and you hope you can continue to do that.
John Bookout will punt.
Wind going east to west.
Good snap. This is a high knuckleball. A lot of hang time. It takes a Wildcat bounce down to the 26. So we'll get another look at the Wildcats on offense, and we'll see if they go without a quarterback here. Now they bring Todd Anderson in.
I think they were just trying to cross up Hersey in the first possession, which isn't a bad idea, but I think you got to go with what got you here, and I don't really think they executed it very well in the first possession.
Todd Anderson, 6 feet, 170 pounds, the senior quarterback, does not throw a lot.
Well, as we said, they're going to have to try ball control. Somebody jumped. I believe it's offside against Hersey. Somebody jumped.
Tom Vasilakos, the tackle jumped.
And we'll see what the call is. Todd Anderson, as you say, can run the football. Now, here are his running stats. He's averaging 4.8 yards per carry. He scored 6 touchdowns, so he can run. And he's going to need that. He's going to need to be able to run to control that football this afternoon. You won't see him throw much. He's not a thrower, and there is a wind, so if he does throw, he'll probably throw a lot of short passes if he does throw much at all.
1st and 5, they send Christensen wide to the left and go with a pro set. That's the up back. Williamson, Craig Williamson, 7 carries, 71 yards last week against Zion Benton. He's a good back and only a junior. They've got quite a few ball players on this team that start that will be back next year. They're going to be very tough in 1988.
Interesting stat on Libertyville. No receiver has more than 13 receptions, but 14 players have caught passes. So everyone's chipping in, but there's no one superstar as far as receivers go for Libertyville.
And that's very hard to defend against.
Their rush-to-pass ratio, 3-1. So as we said, they're predominantly a running football team.
2 tight ends into the game. Poramsky in motion. Anderson sets up a screen, complete to Poramsky. Across the 35, about to the 37-yard line. Very close to a first down.
Here's Brian Poramsky, who's a fine runner and receiving. 13 receptions, 161 yards, 12.4 yards per catch. So he can run and he can catch. And as we said, he's going to have a big day this afternoon. You want to compare total offense. Libertyville with a 264.5 yards a game. They're yielding 177.7.
Now there's a question as to the placement of the ball. They gave the Wildcats a first down, but there's a question as to whether they did in fact get it or not. So they bring the chains out and they're going to measure.
Scott Anderson is senior. 6 feet, 170 pounds. Of course, defensively for Hersey, it's Frank Cablenet.
And he's a tough man to block, Frank Cablenet. They'll have Bistel on him, the offensive tackle, 79. The matchup to watch is 79 for Libertyville on offense and 73 Frank Cablenet on defense. If they can neutralize Cablenet, they will be successful.
Right. He's an all-stater, given an oral commitment to the University of Illinois. He's their inspirational leader, and they go to him. They just look up to him. You need one of those on offense and defense on every team. Someone you can really look up to, and Cablet's the guy for Hersey on defense.
Well, Bob, they did spot the ball incorrectly, because when they broke the huddle, it was 1st and 10, and they did a check on where they marked the ball. Now the Wildcats with a 2nd down, less than a yard. From the 36. Williamson, Poramsky, the 2 setbacks. Anderson kept it on an option play. I think he's got enough for a 1st down.
One thing that Libertyville doesn't want to do, Bert, is fall behind, as we said, because it'd be awfully tough to play catch-up against Hersey, especially on their home field.
A lot of Wildcat fans here this afternoon. 1st down and 10, Libertyville. Anderson walks out, gives to Williamson. They went right behind their center, and he swarmed for a couple of yards.
He was tripped up after a 1-yard gain, and that will make it 2nd down 9, maybe 2nd down 8.
Wildcats, they get into a lot of quick football games with their offense.
Right. Libertyville with an 8-3 record.
They option it and fumble it. Poramsky tried to get it, and I think they came
I think
up
Libertyville has it back. Yeah, well, they're going to be in deep ball. They're going to have to punt the ball away now. No, it's 3rd and 15.
That's right. Passing down, let's see what they do. They bring Jason Donahue into the game as a wide receiver, and Christensen lines up to the right side this time as a split end. 3rd and 15. Anderson, lots of pressure. And he's really hit hard.
Yeah, he's gang tackled.
Steve Castigianos, the linebacker, after the pressure by Cablenet and Gunther got to him, he had to step up into the pocket.
Now they're going to have to punt it away. Take a look at this replay again. Anderson actually makes a nice move to get away, but then he just meets a swarm of Hersey tacklers right there, and he just had no place to go.
Shanholzer fumbles the snap, and now he's got to run with the football. No, he punted it.
Well, they're not going to get much on that. I'll tell you one thing, Bert. In the early going, Libertyville must have the jitters. They can't seem to hold on to the football at all.
Very shaky here.
Yeah.
I think Dale Christensen had a set of plays that he wanted to run to see if he could establish something, and he wasn't successful. So they went back to their old game plan, and Hersey dominating so far. At least,
but the important thing is, as far as Libertyville goes, there's no score on the board, and that's what's going to count in the end.
The Huskies from their own 45-yard line. They
See if they open it up
in
more.
motion.
Look at that. Now, that's a nice effort. Here's the guy that was tackled. I don't know if you can say it was a poor job of tackling on the part of Libertyville as much as it was a great effort by Greg Vick. I mean, they had him stopped, and he broke away.
There you see the offensive stats on Hersey. We said they're averaging 31 points a game.
Deerhog and Ellinger are both wide. Sabatello in motion. And that was Johnson. Check that. Vick again. This program is made possible in part by Superior Exteriors of Park Ridge. Did you know that 60% of all heat loss is through your windows? You can replace your old windows with new thermal insulated replacement windows from Superior Exteriors of Park Ridge. Top quality at an affordable price.
Tell you what, we're getting some heat loss up here. That wind going east to west is going right in our faces up here in the booth.
Tobin that time. We'd be better off sitting outside.
Yeah, it's very pleasant down on the field. It's a great day for football, especially at this time of the year. 1st and 10 now.
A very tough offense to defend against. They have a lot of weapons that can hurt you, so you almost have to play them straight up. That's Sabatello in motion. Trap play, Johnson, and he can go. Steve Johnson into the secondary before Brian Poramsky tackled him.
Excellent play. Probably so key, so worried about Vick, they forgot about Johnson.
First down at the 16-yard line. Another one.
Play again, the trap. There's just nobody there. He has a huge hole to run through. And they still had trouble getting down when they finally got to him.
Tobin option to Sabatello, who's hit in the backfield for a loss by Shanholzer. They lose 4 on that one. And remember, a field goal is no chip shot today.
Here's Steve Johnson's stats.
Tobin on play action. Pressure. Oh, almost intercepted. He threw it right into the hands of Poramsky, but the momentum of the ball, I think, caused him to juggle it. That just goes as an incompletion. They've reacted pretty good so far on defense. They had trouble with the trap play by Johnson, which, if they had seen films of Hersey, which I'm sure they have, they know that Hersey runs that play. It's just a question of reacting to it.
Big play here, 3rd and 14. If they get a first down, they're pretty near the goal line.
Spotted at the Wildcat 20. Draw to Vick. Finds a hole to Christensen. Kirk Christensen, the linebacker, made the tackle. That'll bring up a 4th down, and they bring in Bookout to try a field goal.
Update, Naperville North 9, Elgin nothing. The winner of this game will go on to meet the winner of the Naperville North Elgin game.
Number 7, Janet Bookout into the game.
See, you have the luxury when you got a place kicker like Bookout not to have to throw the ball in a 3rd and long situation, because you know if you're near the goal line, he can pretty well put it through. He's had a 48-yarder.
This is from 35. It is good.
That could have been good from 50 yards.
With 1:23 left in the first quarter, John Bookout with a 35-yard field goal into a crosswind, and the Huskies on top early.
Get a good idea of the wind if you look at the flags.
I think, Bob, that takes a lot of pressure off you to get the first points on the board in a playoff game like that. You can, I think, relax just to a degree.
I think it's also a small victory for Libertyville in that Hersey didn't go in to score the touchdown. They just got 3 points.
Man that kicked the field goal, he had a 48-yarder earlier in the year. An excellent kicker.
He is.
Oh, there was a flag on the play, too.
Well, now it's going to be 1st and 10. There was a flag on the play.
Take that field goal back. What was the penalty? Must have been a personal foul. 1st and goal from the 9. Tobin himself may have gotten a yard. That's about all. Didn't catch the penalty flag, Bob, but it had to have been a personal foul because they gave him a 1st and goal from the 9. So it's still a scoreless football game.
That'll be really big for Libertyville if they can hold them 1st and 9 without scoring.
Ball on the right hash. So they've got the left side to work with, a lot of room, but that's the way the wind's coming from. We'll see what they do. Vic, maybe 3 yards. Jason Donahue on the stop.
Mike Rice, 79, and 43, Mike Papioli for the Libertyville tackler.
3rd and goal from the 5. Well, if they don't make it, I would go for a field goal if they don't make it on 3rd down. You don't want to come away with nothing.
You know something? I wouldn't. I really wouldn't. I'd go for it.
You go for the touchdown if they don't make it?
Sure I would. Well, let's see. It may be academic. It isn't. Well, what would you do?
Well, they went for Ellinger. The fans wanted a penalty flag thrown. Donahue on the coverage. The pass incomplete, and they will go for a field goal.
The field goal and take the sure 3. But the other way to think about it is you're very close. Even if you don't make the touchdown, you're still buried in Libertyville in some very poor field position. You hope your defense can hold, and Hersey doesn't have an outstanding defense, then you get the ball back in good field position.
That's true.
So instead of taking 3, I'd go for 7, and if worse comes to worse, and if you hold the opposition, you get the ball back in good field position, but I'm not coaching. So
I think
this is a chip shot for Bookout.
22 yards.
Yeah, he drilled it.
Right there. So they still...
Now let's look for flags this time, Bert. No flags. It's 3-0. Hersey draws first blood.
8 seconds to go in the first quarter.
Yeah,
so
you know,
we'll
that's
keep it
got to
right
be
here.
a victory, too, a moral victory. Keep talking about moral victories, but in a game like this, those moral victories can add up. And, you know, here's a team that comes in averaging 31 points a game, and Libertyville is holding them to just 3 points in the first quarter. So that's got to make Libertyville feel somewhat good, especially since they're not playing at home.
Yeah, they're a team, too, the Wildcats are, that are plus a good number. I think they're about plus 8 in giveaway takeaway, and Hersey not that impressive giveaway takeaway. It's kind of an intangible figure, but it shows that the team's capability of capitalizing on a turnover.
If you're interested, Hersey has scored a total of 85 points in the first quarter this year. And Bookout's going to kick off.
Will probably be the last play of the first quarter. This is a good high end over-under. Shanholzer.
That's some great tackling down there.
They did out to the 22, and the clock stopped with 2 seconds left in the first quarter.
Number 36 made the stop for Greg Vick. He had no number 53.
Doesn't look like a mid-November day, but it is.
Just for the record, as we go into the second quarter, we'll tell you about it after this play.
The end of a
No,
quarter.
it's the end of the quarter.
Here at Hersey
Scoring-wise,
High School. It's Hersey 3, Libertyville nothing. We'll take a break.
When did you hang this person at 5 a.m. instead of 7? We can't hurt you, and we can make the city edition. May I be frank?
Is that your name?
Well, my name is Godfrey.
All right, be frank.
I shall make a duchess of this draggle-tailed gutter snipe.
Oh!
In 6 months in 3 years.
Hello, I'm Mike Wetzel, inviting you to join me here each week as we take a closer look at some classic films from Hollywood's golden era. So join me each week for Cinema Gems.
All right, Bert Bruner, along with Bob Hillman, Director Jim Mitchell, the rest of our Cablenet crew at Hersey High School in Arlington Heights. a quarterfinal IHSA playoff game, and the home team, the Huskies, with the black jerseys, the orange pants, lead Libertyville 3-0 on a book-out field goal late in the first quarter.
Scoring-wise, the second quarter has been the best for Hersey this year. They scored a total of 119 points. That's right, Libertyville's best quarter, the first quarter, so they didn't score at all. But I'm sure they're happy just to be down by 3 points at this point.
Anderson on an option. But you try and soften up the defensive front by running an option play. And sometimes you can beat them, but a defense like Hersey, that's tough to do.
Second and 9.
They gain a yard. Christensen wide to the left. Paransky, Williamson. This is Williamson. Darts 2, maybe 3. They're running right at the nose tackle, Mark Gunther. Williamson, good numbers.
6.1 yards a carry, that's not bad.
Third and 5.
See if they pass here.
A long count, Anderson on option, and he's hit. Going nowhere. It looked like the right guard jumped, but they didn't call it.
No flag. See, really, I think Libertyville really needs to, like on a 3rd and 5 situation, I really think to gain that yardage, they really need to throw the ball, and I think it would loosen them up just a little bit. I think they're still playing a little bit tight, you know, and you've just got to go all out. Well, let's watch Commit on the replay, the tackle. Look at him, the all-stater. Look at the pursuit. I mean, he's playing like a man possessed there. Frank Commit, the all-stater. As we said, he's committed to Illinois. Libertyville has to punt.
Shanholzer.
Not a bad kick.
That's a decent kick. This is Jet Williams at the 40. Still on his feet. Where did he go out of bounds, though? At the 49.
And they're going to have good field position. You know, with a team like Hersey, you just can't afford to give them good field position, because if you do, it's going to hurt you.
You know,
that's why I say you can't afford to play conservatively on a 3rd and 5 situation. You know, when they're probably expecting you to run the ball, you got to throw the ball and at least get the ball further upfield so that you don't give the opposition, you know, like Hersey, the ball in good field position if you do have to give it up.
You mentioned the field position, but you know, Hersey, they've had excellent field position.
But they can score from anywhere because they're a big play team. They're going to throw.
Oh. Intended for Sabatello. They've had good field position all day, only managed 3 points.
Duke Tobin was upset there because he knew he had a man wide open and just misfired. All right, here's the scoring by quarters. As I said, the best quarter as far as scoring, 119 points in the second quarter total for Hersey. Their worst quarter is the fourth quarter, so if Libertyville can stay close till the fourth quarter, they may have a chance. If.
2nd and 10, Johnson in motion.
Oh, flags all over the place there.
Tackle jumped. Rob Rydell, I just think he had the wrong snap count there. Huskies throughout the afternoon have been going on very quick counts.
This has not been an artistic game by any stretch of the imagination.
Not at all.
A lot of penalties, and of course, in that first series, Libertyville just had a case of fumbleitis. I think they're starting to settle in now and relax a little bit. But that's to be expected in a game like this.
All right, 2nd down and 15. Tobin.
Now he misfired again.
And he had Sabatello open.
Yeah, he did. That's 2 in a row now that he's misfired on. Well, you know, we've known that Tobin can be erratic.
program is made possible in part by Sabatello Tree Service. Sabatello provides quality tree care by certified arborists. Get the bare facts about tree care. Call Sabatello at 577-BEAR, 577-BEAR for a free estimate. Sabatello Tree Service in Arlington Heights.
See what they do on 3rd and 15. Yeah, they got to throw.
Setting up a screen.
That's great
by
pressure.
Christensen.
Yeah, that's just great pressure there by Libertyville. Rob Caldwell with great pressure, and he put so much pressure on that Tobin just couldn't throw the ball, and the ball was batted down.
Duke Tobin passing 0 for 5. Still relatively early in the game. You know, he didn't have the greatest game last week. He was 2 of 8 for 75 yards, 3 interceptions. You think maybe, Bob, he could be thinking back of his mind that he's coming off a bad game?
I doubt it very seriously.
All right, Bookout's kick is blocked and picked up by the Wildcats. Shanholzer with the block, and a penalty flag is thrown.
See what it's all about. All right, now let's take a look at the block here. Just absolutely no protection whatsoever, and Bookhouse just couldn't get the ball away. Look at this. Just look, there's a horde of people just coming in there from Libertyville, and there was absolutely no defense whatsoever. That's a big play for Libertyville to block that kick.
There was a penalty flag thrown. This is against the Wildcats. It occurred after the punt was blocked.
You know, but it doesn't really matter, because if they got the punt away, they would have been 50 yards further down the field. So even though they took the penalty, they still have better field position than they would have had Hersey gotten the kickoff. That's a big play for Libertyville, and they really should capitalize here. They really have got to come away with something here.
Spotted at the 37 of Hersey.
Yeah, they really need to score here.
9 minutes to go in the second quarter, and Hersey in this playoff game is up 3-0. Anderson, quarterback draw, finds a hole. Gain of 6. There was a fumble on the play.
And Hersey's got it back. See, that's the kind of stuff Libertyville cannot afford. You get a break, you got to cash in. You don't cash in, you're not going to win the football game, especially against a team like Hersey. Here's a turnover ratio. Bert?
Libertyville, good turnover ratio, +9, but the wrong time for a turnover there.
Well, any time's the wrong time for a turnover, unless you're up 35-0.
That one really stings, though, because...
Yeah, it does, because they had great field position. The penalty hurt them, and then to turn the football over like that, it really has got to hurt.
After a big play,
yeah,
they give
exactly.
it to Vic. Defense this afternoon has dominated. Bob mentioned it hasn't been an artistic day this afternoon. Duke Tobin has yet to complete a pass.
Here's a good look at Greg Vick, senior. And he's got an offensive line of seniors to run behind, so that makes the job a little bit easier. The offensive line often unheralded. But they're all seniors, and they do the job. No place to go. And Libertyville defense is tough. They're playing very well. They've only given up 10 points a game, and they've held 7 teams to 1 touchdown or less. Most points they've ever given up in a game this year, 22 points. So they're an excellent defensive team, but they're up against a pretty good offensive team. Tobin has not been at his best this afternoon, and they've contained Vic pretty well. I think the only play was that trap play that they've given up for big yardage.
You know, they've run that all year, and teams, once they see it, they get beat on it once, but once they get a look at it, they react better to it. Hersey, usually as the game goes on, has trouble running a trap play. 3rd and 15 after the sack by Papiola. A pitch, and Johnson.
Oh, my goodness. Try to kick it.
And I think Liberty, who's got it?
They tried to short kick it on third down and make a big mistake.
Well, I think I've seen a little bit of everything so far in this game. This has certainly, as we said, not been an artistic thing of beauty, but now Libertyville's got another chance. And I really think if they don't cash in here, they're going to really start perhaps getting a little bit down on themselves, which they can't afford to do. They really need to go in. They've got excellent field position. They got another break. Let's see what they can do with it.
At the 20 in Hersey territory, 1st and 10. 6 minutes to go in the second quarter, and the Wildcats are down 3-0. Anderson options Williamson has a blocker in front of him. They try the left side. Williamson still on his feet.
You know, that's a super effort right there. That is, you know, he gained about 7 yards just on determination and effort because he was in the grasp. That one's all the way down at the 2. Now here's the replay. Now watch the effort. All right, now watch this. He gets about 7 yards. See that? See that? They're hanging on to him. Hanging on, hanging on. He gets 7 more yards on sheer effort.
A 17-yard run. That's the longest run from scrimmage this afternoon, and they have 1st and goal from the 3. Williamson again. Behind center, maybe a yard.
The massive bodies down there. You actually have to be there to call that one. Forget the binoculars.
I think most of the time they guess.
No, it's down at the 1. So it's going to be 2nd down. I guess they're going to spot it at the 2. 5:57 left, 3-0. Hersey leading on a book-out field goal.
2nd and 2. I think Dale Christensen, Bob, the way his offense has performed, has to go for it on 4th down.
No question about it. They have absolutely got to go for it. No field goals. You've got to go for the touchdown.
Long count, Anderson quarterback draw. He was pushed forward into the end zone, touchdown.
That's it. Well, they cashed in there, and that's got to give them a big lift. They cashed in there. And they've actually taken the lead on a Hersey team that figured to be leading much of the way.
Todd Anderson on a 2-yard quarterback draw. His momentum was initially stopped, but was pushed forward.
Take a look at the replay. This is just sheer power right here on the offensive line. Watch this. He just goes in, and the offensive line did a great job of blowing out the defensive line. That battle was won right there on the line of scrimmage by Libertyville. No question about that.
Bill Graham in for the extra point. Tucker Waugh will hold, and this kick is good.
Barely.
5:33 to go in the second quarter. Libertyville 7, Hersey 3. Coverage of this high school playoff football action is made possible in part by Superior Exteriors of Park Ridge. Call Superior Exteriors at 692-2620 or stop by their showroom. They're located at 1308 West Toohey Avenue in Park Ridge.
You're wondering how these teams got to the point where they're at in the playoffs. Hersey's beaten Oak Park 47-22, and they beat Lyons Township 30-7 last week.
Well, defense, Bob Hillman, never, even though Libertyville just scored, has dominated. I personally like seeing defensive games better than these high-scoring affairs where they go up and down the field. Do you like that, too?
Oh, no. I kind of like the high-scoring affairs myself a lot more. Yeah, it's a lot more excitement. It's kind of like the designated hitter rule in baseball. People like that because they see more action and more offense. And I kind of like offense in a football game. Libertyville has beaten Fremd and Zion Benton to get this far. Short kick.
Not good communication from that.
Yeah. No, not a good day for the special teams, and you know you can't afford to run into your own guy.
They threw
another penalty flag.
Penalty flags, yeah. Unsportsmanlike conduct, I think, is going to be called against Hersey.
It might be.
I think they're a little bit down. I
think Hersey didn't expect to be down at this point in the game, and they got to forget about the score right now. Just play the football game.
Sam Daniels, that's the referee who threw the initial flag. They get called for delay of game.
A lot of mistakes in this game. Yeah, it's been a rough day there. A lot of mistakes in this football game. As we said, mistakes could play a key, and it really hurt. It really hurt Hersey on the last series because they gave up the football, and Libertyville scored on them.
On the kickoff, they had 2 penalties called against them, a delay and a personal foul. So this will pin them all the way back to their own 9-yard line. Team meeting on the sidelines for Hersey.
Wonder what they're saying. They're probably saying, hey, we got to cut down the mistakes and start playing football.
That was Johnson. I think so.
You know,
Dale Christensen, head coach of Libertyville. 2nd down and 20. Tobin quarterback draw. Christensen the first man to hit him. He did get 3, but they need a lot more than that.
that's a passing situation now, and I know what Libertyville's thinking. They're thinking interception right now. Because Tobin's thrown 14 interceptions, so I know what they're thinking. They know they're in a passing situation, and this is the situation that Libertyville would like to be in, especially on defense.
3 wideouts into the game. Williams in motion, Deerhog and Ellinger.
No, they're not going to pass.
They give to Vick. Nowhere to go.
I guess they're playing real conservatively. I guess they didn't want to risk the turnover and give Libertyville good field position.
So they bring in Book out to punt. It's funny, Bob, how the first place from scrimmage, Libertyville, looked very disorganized, and now just the appearance that they give is that they smell that they're going to play well. And Hersey, the other
well,
hand,
you see, yeah, because Libertyville was the underdog, and they were a visiting team, and they had kind of had the jitters, and now, since they've taken the lead, it seems like they feel they have the upper hand.
Look out. Pretty good kick. They fake a reverse and go nowhere. Maybe.
A great hit from behind.
Baranski faked the reverse to Shanholzer. They still have good field position, though.
Dave Platt really leveled the guy there.
Get another look at the Wildcats on offense. They lead 7-3. A little more than 3 minutes to go before halftime in this quarterfinal playoff game.
Passing stats.
Play action. Anderson airs it out.
Just overthrew him.
Intended for Ray Flores. He's their #1 receiver. Caught a 33-yard pass last week for a touchdown. I think they've got to do that, though, Bob. They've got to stretch the linebackers a little bit and secondary. For a wall. Frank Comet in on the step. Both teams offensively haven't really done anything to speak of. The scoring in this game has come for the most part because of the special teams and the result of the turnover. Or a bad play, I should say, the short kick by Hersey. 3rd 7. Anderson has a man. Christensen complete.
That's a
enough
good play.
for a first down. It was.
Just a quick pass right over the middle. See, and that's the kind of thing you really have to do to open it up a little bit more. Those quick passes over the middle will get you 7-8 yards at a clip. Libertyville would like to try to score before the end of the half. They've got about 2 minutes to do it. They're going to have to move the football down the field, maybe with a few of those short passes.
First down from the 37. They go to the air again.
Same thing.
And it was dropped. They had Popiolik, Mike Popiolik, the tight end open, and I think he
Yeah, he just dropped the ball. He must have lost concentration. Sometimes when you see a defender coming and he's ready to level you, sometimes you lose your concentration for a split second. That ball was right there and it really should have been caught. Would have been a big catch, too, because Libertyville would like to, as we say, at least get in field goal position. They do have an outstanding field goal kicker.
2nd and 10, they send John Strout, split to the right side. Anderson options, penalty flag is thrown. This is Poramsky at the blocker in front of him.
Go out of bounds. I guess he stayed in.
He stayed inbound, but there is a flag on the play, and this will go back.
4 mistakes.
Thrown in the area of holding, but we'll wait and see what the call is.
Take a look at the replay on this one. Well, you can't... That's holding against Libertyville. You tend to do that when you want to get down the field in a hurry. You want to make some big plays. Here are the penalties in this game. Libertyville 5 for 35 yards. Hersey 4 for 25 yards. So this game has been filled with mistakes. But Libertyville's on top now 7-3. Clock moving, 1:35 left now.
2nd and 22. 2 wideouts this time into the game for the Wildcats. A lot of pressure.
Oh, what a play!
Mark Gunther on the interception, and they won't catch it.
No, they won't. Any flag? Looks like there's a flag on the field, though. It looks like we have a flag on the field, so hold everything.
There is a flag.
We'll see who it's against. They're celebrating, but it may be premature. It looks as if it might go again. Yeah, let's take a look at the interception. Watch number 55. Watch. Oh, you couldn't see him, but then the ball was picked off. But great pressure by number 55, Mike Ferrero. And it's going to be brought back. We'll see what the call is.
Gunther really smelled it, but they're bringing this back.
Well, you know, it was. Now they're going to let the touchdown stand. You couldn't see it, but there was great pressure by number 55, Mike Ferrero, which forced Anderson to throw the errant pass, and then Mark Gunther just stepped right in front of the receiver and just went in all the way. And, you know, a play like that coming right before the half would be a really big lift for a football team, a team that scores, of course.
A huge lift.
Big lift.
Hersey has not looked good in the first half, and if they go into the locker room up, they'll be very lucky.
Well, I think they probably will, because I don't think Libertyville is going to do anything fancy. And unless they get a long run back on the kickoff, the kick is good. Unless they get a long kickoff return to put them in scoring position, I think they're not going to do anything fancy, and they'll be happy to go into the locker room just down 10-7. But see, a play like that right before the half, you know, it just kills you. It just kills you if it goes against you. And Hersey has to go into the locker room feeling pretty good with a lot of momentum, that intangible called momentum. Now look at this. What they're saying is, thank you very much, Mark Gunther. We really appreciate that. Maybe they're trying to get on television.
So Bookout will kick off. We've got 1:17 to go in the second quarter. The Hersey Huskies are up by 3, 10-7.
And as you said, all the scoring is a result of mistakes. And that's something the coaches are going to definitely address in the locker room at halftime, among other things. You just can't afford to make these mistakes, not in a game like this.
Bookout. There's a crosswind. Shanholzer. He's got a wedge in front of him. Hit hard at the 20-yard line.
I don't think they're going to try anything fancy. I think they're just going to try to stay very basic, avoid any mistakes, fumbles, or turnovers, and just be content going in 3 points down.
Well, both teams have 3 timeouts left. So ball is deep enough, I would think, where Hersey would use their timeouts possibly to get a shot at blocking a kick.
Could be. But Libertyville will not try anything fancy.
I don't think
And they're
so.
not a great passing team anyway.
Anderson with Polanski and Williamson. Quarterback draw. Anderson got 5 out of it. They run that play a few times this afternoon. He scored on his touchdown, on their touchdown like that.
Yeah, they've called timeout. Libertyville's called a timeout.
Libertyville did. I'm surprised Hersey didn't stop the clock. I
There
think
you see it, 37 seconds left in the half, 10-7. Hersey's taking the lead on that big interception return by number 50, Mark Gunther.
And a reminder, we've got winter sports action coming up for you. Don't forget boys and girls basketball, hockey, girls gymnastics. We did the girls state gymnastics finals last year and covered a number of girls meets in the area, so we'll have all that coming up for you very soon, very quickly. Of course, I'll be there, and we have Jerry Denk, our resident gymnastics expert. I'm sure he'll be back for another year, providing us with insight into that. And hockey, so a lot of fall sports coming up in the very near future, and doesn't look like a November afternoon today, but it is.
Well, it feels like it up here because we're getting the wind in our face.
No sun.
Pitch.
Williamson still going. Oh, the 42. That was a
Good
nice
tackle.
run.
Yeah. That Mike Ferrero. Now here's the guy that put the pressure on Anderson when he threw the interception. He was right in there on the tackle, number 55. He can hit. Ferrero's 6-foot linebacker. He's a junior, 180 pounds.
They stopped the clock just to move the chains, and now they start at 25 seconds.
Yeah, they're going to throw.
Screen complete.
Throw out of bounds. Stop the clock again.
Ray Flores, his first grab of the afternoon. That's good for 7 yards.
Yeah, there's the wind. It's coming from east to west, and it's at about, I'd say, 15, 20 miles an hour. They're going to have to throw it a little bit longer. Now, there really is no point in throwing the football with 20 seconds on the clock if you're going to throw it 5 yards. If you're going to throw it, and at least get into scoring position so you can kick a field goal or something. I mean, I don't understand the sense of throwing it 5 yards and then run the risk of an interception for what?
I agree. These east-west passes,
Yeah.
they've already been burned once.
Exactly. So if you're going to pass, make it count. Now,
Anderson kept it himself. 14 seconds. They stopped the clock.
it's their last one, isn't it?
I think they've got one more. I think they're conservatively trying to maybe get themselves in the field goal range if there is such a
Well,
thing.
they're not going to do it, not with 14 seconds on the clock and
No.
throwing the ball 5 yards to the cliff. You know, throw it down the middle, get yourself 20, call a timeout, throw another play on the sidelines, get 10 more, then kick a field goal. But they're not going to kick it this way. It's 3rd and 1. I'd like to see a good Hail Mary here, right before the end of the half.
I would too, although with the might look more like a hail marshmallow with the amount of time left.
Yeah.
I think they were unsure as to whether to go into a 2-minute offense, the amount of time left. They were kind of tentative. Now they have the ball at the Hersey 44. Anderson will go to the air.
Yeah, there's a long bomb.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh! Oh! Oh!
In and out of the hands of Ray Flores, and that was a very well-thrown pass.
Yeah, it was very well thrown. That was 6 points, and especially well thrown when you stop to think that the wind is blowing the way it is. Wish we could see a replay on that one. That was a very, very good, well-thrown pass, no question about it. Flores just didn't hang on. Now there's 7 seconds left, so... Well, let's take a look at the replay now. Now, that, you know, considering the wind, the pass is very well thrown. Flores is right there. and really could have had that, just off his hand.
I think it was tipped, but very catchable. 7 seconds for the half. They go on 4th down.
Yeah, they'll just keep it and run out the clock and go down 10-7 at the half. Yeah, that'll be it.
That ends the second quarter of play here at Hersey High School, this quarterfinal playoff game. And the Huskies, thanks in part to a big interception return for a touchdown by Mark Gunther, lead this game 10-7. You're watching high school football on Cablenet. We'll be back.
If you spent too much to heat your home last winter, consider this. 60% of all heat loss is through windows. Replace your old windows with new thermal-insulated replacement windows from superior exteriors of Park Ridge. Double-pane thermal-insulated windows keep warm air in and cold air out. Beautiful wood replacement windows. Easy to clean, energy efficient. Only $150 installed. $150 installed. Only at superior exteriors of Park Ridge. Top quality at an affordable price.
Well, surprise, surprise, we still have 2 seconds left in the half. I guess the officials wanted 2 seconds put back on the clock.
I'm very surprised. I was watching the clock, Bob, and I don't see any reason why they would add more time on there.
Well, there's still 2 seconds. Just throw it up for a prayer. Right now, just heave it up in the air. What's going to happen? The worst that can happen is that it'll be intercepted in the end zone. But at least if you get a lucky tip, you're on the board. So just heave it up in the air and see what happens.
I think that's what they'll do right now.
Yeah, they've got to do that. And Hersey's got to put some men back there to cover it. But just toss it up in the air. Anderson can reach the end zone from there. Let's see what he does. Well, he does throw it up. No.
Almost intercepted by Mark Sunderland, and now the first half comes to an end.
Are you sure?
I thought I was sure the first time, but I am now. It's Hersey 10, the Libertyville Wildcats 7. Halftime at Hersey. We'll be back.
Hi, I'm John Bon Jovi, and I've been given a script to talk to you about drugs, rock and roll, having fun, and good time, and all that good stuff. Well, I'll tell you what. Drugs is not a part of my everyday routine. It's not everyday fun. It's not good for you. All right? So listen, think twice before you do drugs, because there ain't no winners out there doing it.
Brought to you by MTV, RAD, and your local cable system.
But I need to hit now. I want to be the hot young new sensation.
Age is the worst for an actor.
You sell out?
In a second.
Parents, thousands of young people have written to me about alcohol, other drugs, and you. They said they wish they could talk to you about drugs, but they don't know how. Children as young as 7, 8, or 9 years old may already know about drugs or have been asked to use them. They face tough decisions about whether or not to go along with the crowd. You can help your children make the right choice. For suggestions, ask your local PTA or write to me, Bruce Weitz, at the National PTA.
Bert Broder and Bob Hillman back at Hersey High School in Arlington Heights. We're at halftime with the Hersey Huskies on top by the score of 10-7. So let's take a look and enjoy the Hersey High School marching band. Time at Hersey High School in Arlington Heights. It's 10-7 in favor of Hersey. You're watching high school football on Cablenet. We'll be right back.
If you spent too much to heat your home last winter, consider this. 60% of all heat loss is through windows. Replace your old windows with new thermal-insulated replacement windows from Superior Exteriors of Park Ridge. Double-pane thermal-insulated windows keep warm air in and cold air out. Beautiful wood replacement windows. Easy to clean, energy efficient. Only $150 installed. $150 installed. Only at Superior Exteriors of Park Ridge. Top quality at an affordable price.
Hi, I'm Earl Lewis, and this is Grassroots. Join us this month as my guests and I delve into a very controversial subject, the role of religion in politics.
You never know when you're going to need help. Sometime in your life, you're going to need somebody to help you, to give you a hand.
It's neighbors helping neighbors or people helping people. It's not...
And giving money to the United Way is going to help all people in all those areas.
The warmness of being able to know that your money is going directly to help somebody in need.
Drugs are great. Drugs make me strong. Drugs make me smart. Drugs make me feel good. Drugs make me cool.
You believe that crap? Huh? You believe all that stuff they're handing you about drugs? You want to believe in something? How about yourself? Don't do drugs. Brought to you by MTV, RAG, and your local cable system.
All right, Bert Groner along with Bob Hillman here at halftime. You're watching the Hersey High School Marching Band getting done with their routine at halftime. We still have a few minutes before the start of the second half of play. And you can tell by the way everyone's dressed here this afternoon that it's not bad outside at all. Very sunny, kind of windy, but a good day for a football game.
Want to recap the scoring?
We might as well, sure.
Let's do it. We're getting all kinds of stats here, so let's, first of all, let's recap the scoring, and I'll let you figure out the stats. There was only one scoring play in the first quarter. John Bookout kicked a field goal from 22 yards, and it was 3-0 favor of Hersey to start, but then Todd Anderson scored on a 2-yard keep to make it 7-3 favor of Libertyville. And then right before the end of the half, Mark Gunter, a 43-yard interception, returned for a touchdown to make it 10-7 at the half, Hersey.
Right, and the numbers we have so far, well, they're the halftime statistics, and look at the big fat 0 for Hersey, yards passing.
Yeah.
And Bob, I know they're on top right now, but if they do not get any passing yardage in this football game, they're going to have a real tough go in the second half. Their game is putting points on the scoreboard, and the way they've scored today is not characteristic.
Yeah, and you know, Libertyville's got to feel pretty good. They're going up against a team that's averaged 31 points a game, and they've only scored 10 against them in 2 quarters, and they're only down by 3 points at the end of the half, so they have to feel pretty good. The turnovers, there's a big story right there. From the big one right before the end of the half, when they turned the ball over on the interception, and Gunther returned it 43 yards for the touchdown to give Hersey a 10-7 lead.
And quite frankly, I think Hersey has had a tougher go of it this afternoon than Libertyville. It's been, for the most part, a defensive-oriented football game, but I think that while both teams are struggling, Hersey, I think, struggling more, and that's going to affect them going into the second half. The numbers so far on the quarterbacks, Todd Anderson, 2 of 6 for 18 yards. That football certainly has gotten a workout, you can tell by that. He had a 43-yard touchdown interception. That was by Mark Gunther, and he has 21 yards rushing, and he will run the football out, particularly on those option plays. Duke Tobin, 0 for 5 passing.
Yeah, he's not looked good passing. And the thing, too, they've contained Greg Vick very well.
Right, Vick with 5 carries, 25 yards, and Steve Johnson, their other back, had a good game. The only time he carried the ball, one carry for 29 yards. So Libertyville, give them credit. They've done a good job at containing the Husky offense here this afternoon. They just haven't been able to do anything themselves.
The mistakes are going to have to be cut down. There's no question about it in the second half. And I think, as we said at the outset of the telecast, the team that makes the fewest mistakes could win this football game. And it's beginning to look more and more like that will be the story of this game, because mistakes have been rampant in the first half. We'll try to get some stats to you on number of penalties, but there have been at least 10 that we know of, and it has not been a very well-played football game.
Reminder that this program is made possible in part by Superior Exteriors of Park Ridge. Did you know that 60% of all heat loss is through your windows? You can replace your old windows with new thermal insulated replacement windows from Superior Exteriors of Park Ridge. Top quality at an affordable price. And those people right there look like they replaced the shingles on their roof. That's probably the best seat in the house. You get to absorb some sun in November, and you can consume just about any beverage you want without getting in trouble for it.
Hersey is 9-2. Of course, they've won 2 games here in the playoffs. Hersey beat Oak Park 47-22. They beat Lyons Township 30-7. Their only 2 losses this season came at the hands of Wheeling and Palatine. And as far as Libertyville is concerned, they've beaten Frem 15-14, and Libertyville beat Zion Benton 13-7. There are 3 losses this year to Antioch, Wake Forest, and Zion Benton. Here comes Hersey back on the field. All right, here's the penalty situation, and there were 9. Hersey, 4 penalties for 25 yards. Libertyville, 5 penalties for 35 yards. That's a lot of penalty flags to be thrown in the first half.
Well, Hersey, for the most part, has been good all year as far as penalties go, and they've made mistakes today. Libertyville, don't forget that Libertyville, they lost to Zion Benton in their last regular season game, I believe the last week in October, but they were penalized 16 times in that game for a total of 140 yards. So they are susceptible to making mistakes, and I think that going into the second half, Bob, the pressure definitely on them to assert themselves. They are the ones that are trailing by 3 points, and that brings me to my question. If you're Dale Christensen, are you going to open things up a little bit offensively?
I really think you have to, because number one, you got to put points on the board, and number two, you've got to prove to yourself that you can move the football. There's no sense playing conservatively. You're down. You know Hersey is an explosive team. You don't want to get behind. You got to take some chances. You really do. And I don't think playing conservatively is going to help Libertyville's cause at all. And there's a guy, Mark Gunther, linebacker, 185-pound senior. He returned a 43-yard interception for a touchdown, and that gave Hersey a 10-7 lead at the half. But actually, the unsung hero in that play, if you recall, Bert, is Mike Ferrero, because he put pressure, a lot of pressure on Anderson, the quarterback, which caused him to misfire. It caused him not to get a whole lot on the football, which allowed Gunther to step right in front of the receiver and return it for the touchdown.
You see the playoff appearances of Hersey in 75. They beat St. Viator, and then in the second round they lost to Loyola. 76, Brother Rice, they won, then lost to New Trier East, and then in 85 they beat Collins, then lost to Forest View. This is the first year that they've advanced beyond the second round.
So I don't think even though they're home, there isn't a little bit of tension on their part also. I honestly really feel now that the tension is over with and the jitters are over with. Not just a matter of execution and smart game plan. We're about ready for the kickoff, and Libertyville is going to be doing the kicking off. Yeah, Libertyville's only been to the playoffs once before, and they lost 10-0 to Buffalo Grove back in '85.
Junior quarterback Duke Tobin has had a rough day so far this afternoon. 0 of 5 passing, and there were a couple of passes that, quite frankly, were, I don't want to say catchable, but Duke just kind of misfired. He had Sabatello open a couple of times, and the pass was zinged a little too far. So maybe it took him just a little longer to get loose. He is a better quarterback than those numbers.
Oh, he'll complete one before the day's out. It's a short kickoff.
This is Steve Johnson across the 20. Blockers in front of him out to the 30. He fumbled the football. I think Hersey recovered their own fumble. They have had that problem in 1987 of fumbling footballs, whether it's while they're on offense or it's happened a few times, I know, on kickoff returns.
Well, let's start 1st and 10 from the 31. Senior offensive line for Hersey.
Behind.
But Libertyville's handled them pretty well.
They played extremely well.
Yeah, they really have.
Sabatello. He can go.
There it is. He's gone. He's gone. No, there's nobody going to catch him. He's gone. He is gone. Goodbye.
Sabatello.
No flag. No, there is a flag. There's one flag. You know, it seems like whenever there's a great play, there's a flag. We can't seem to have a good play uninterrupted by a penalty.
That was a 69-yard run by Dan Sabatello.
That's going to go against Hersey. Well, you see, we talk about eliminating mistakes. Let's take a look at the replay. There was absolutely nobody that was going to get. There he is, and he just flat out runs the defense.
Wow.
Bobby Eggety giving it a chase, but there was no way they were going to get Sabatello. But what happens? A penalty. Sabatello scored 3 touchdowns for the year. Too bad it wasn't 4 for him. 7.7 yards a carry. But as we said, you got to cut down on the mistakes. And what happens? The penalty flag negates a beautiful touchdown, which would have really given Hersey a nice cushion.
So instead, it's 1st and 10
from midfield.
From midfield. Another trap play. It worked before, and Johnson slipped and fell. He could have picked up added yardage, but he kind of tripped over himself.
Might have been tripped up.
Boy, how would you like to be a senior, Dan Sabatello, the senior, score a 69-yard touchdown run in a high school playoff game and then have to have it brought?
Well, at least he can tell it to his grandchildren or his children, hey, I scored on a 69-yard run, but it didn't count.
2nd and 7. Tobin, they pitched to Johnson.
Yeah, 14 made a nice play.
And Rob Caldwell.
Yeah, Rob Caldwell grabbed him by the shirt and slowed him down, and he wasn't going anywhere.
Speaking of the name Sabatello, remember, Cablenet's coverage of high school football playoff action is brought to you in part by Sabatello Tree Service in Arlington Heights. For tree care from planting, trimming to removal, call Sabatello. Get the bare fact on tree care. Call for a free estimate. Sabatello Tree Service in Arlington Heights, 577-BEAR, 577-BEAR. That's the telephone number. And there are the numbers on Steve Johnson this afternoon. Hersey.
And Hersey calls a timeout.
Yeah.
I don't know why. You're going to need all those timeouts toward the end of the game. That's really a shame. Sabatello with a nice run. And again, the penalty flag brought it back. We've had 2 touchdowns in this game, and all as a result of mistakes.
That's right.
Here's the story on Dan Sabatello, a senior. 6 feet, 175 pounds. Pretty quick.
And you know what's amazing about him is that he could start on most of the other teams in the area. He's that good a back. It's just Hersey has such a good back in Vic, and they've got Johnson in there who's just so quick that Sabatello will usually sub for one of them, or he'll sub when they bring a receiver out and they'll use an added back.
Well, there's another Chicago area team called the Bears that know all about having a number of running backs and not being able to fit everybody in. All right, it's 3rd down and 6, ball on the 45-yard line. Hersey leading 10-7. About 10 minutes left in the 3rd quarter.
Double slot formation for the Huskies. Sabatello in motion this time. Penalty flags are thrown. Did they take too much time?
They might have. Not really procedure.
False start.
Yeah.
Sam Daniels, the referee, has called that penalty so many times, I think, that in his sleep out he could get a job as a fan.
Yeah.
The way he's moved his hands around.
I'll tell you, if I were a coach watching the game films here, I wouldn't be awfully pleased about the execution, that's for sure.
That makes it 3rd and 11. A definite passing down. They send 4 wideouts in.
Yeah, Tobin's been 0 for 5, but he's going to complete 1 before the day's out. He's too good a quarterback not to. So they fake the draw.
Over the middle, intercepted and dropped. Intended for Chris Deerhog. Deerhog, their #1 receiver, he caught a 63-yard pass from Tobin last week. No one has caught a pass this afternoon. That's John Bookout into the game, so.
3rd down and 11. It's 4th down. Yeah, the scoreboard's wrong.
They'll punt it away.
Jim Mitchell, our capable director, saying it's 4th down. He not only directs, he also knows exactly what's going on in the football game. Got a handle on everything.
Bookout. Average better than 36 yards a kick. This is a short snap, but he's got time to get it off, and this is a booming kick into a crosswind. Poramsky at it.
Oh, great tackle. You know, that is great special teams work right there. No doubt about that. Great special teams work by Jeff Williams, number 20. That's what you want in a kind of game like this, and that's what you want in any game. Good special teams coverage, good kick return coverage. The 40-yard kick, no return. And poor field position for Libertyville. That is a very big play by Jeff Williams, no doubt about it. That was excellent punt coverage right there. That's a major league play right there.
All right, they started at their own 10-yard line. The Wildcats do 1st and 10. Todd Anderson, the quarterback. Poramsky, Craig Williamson, the 2 backs. This is Williamson.
Good move outside. Yeah, good move outside.
Kurt Vanslow, the free safety, pounced on him, but he did get close to a first down. Pickup of 8.
Vanslow with a nice tackle. By the way, Kurt Vanslow leads Hersey with 5 interceptions. And as you see, he can also tackle.
Very dangerous man in the secondary. He's very deceptive, and he reads the quarterback very well.
2nd down and 1 from the 19.
Poramsky, make that Williamson into the secondary. Enough for a first down across
that was
the 30
a big
to the
hole
33.
right there. Well, they really did a good job there on the offensive line, blowing out the defensive line of Hersey. Big holes. 1st and 10 now from the 32, and Libertyville's moving the football.
Craig Williamson. He's a junior. John Shanholzer, the strong safety, he's a junior. They've got Jason Donahue, defensive back, another junior. They will be good next year. From the 32, 1st and 10 for the Wildcats.
They're going to call timeout, probably with some confusion at the line, so Libertyville's going to use a timeout. You know, in a close game like this, toward the end of the game, you're going to need all the timeouts you can get, so you don't want to call too many now. Here's Craig Williamson. 7 attempts for 63 yards. 7 attempts, 63 yards.
Not a bad game, I think.
No, not at all. That's 9 yards per.
You know, a lot of these kids, a lot of people forget, but a lot of these kids, and they don't know it yet, but are playing their last game as a high school football player. So that's, you know, they're probably not thinking about it right now, but that's...
I can tell you they're not thinking about it. All they're thinking about is winning this game. If you start thinking you're playing your last game, then you're thinking that you're going to lose, and that's not what you want to be thinking about. Now, I think their heads are totally into the game. It's just that the number of turnovers have got to be cut down. Libertyville has done a nice job on this series because they were pinned back at the 10 after an exceptional tackle by Jeff Williams, but they've moved the ball out nicely on 2 plays, and they've got a 1st and 10 now on the 32-yard line. I got to believe that Libertyville thinks they can win this football game and that they're really glad to be in a situation like this, only 3 points down. Still a lot of time left in the 3rd quarter, 8 minutes and 28 seconds.
Well, we mentioned earlier, they run the football a lot. Most of their yardage in 1987 has been on the ground. 70% of their yardage has been on the ground.
And both are good defensive teams.
Numbers on Anderson.
1st and 10. See what he does on 1st and 10.
In the 32, 2 wideouts into the game. Donahue and Christensen optioned it and fumbled it, and Poramsky got a nice bounce, and they're going to turn a nothing play into about a 3-yard gain.
Yeah, and he's lucky he got the bounce because that bounce didn't go his way. That could have been a turnover, and Hersey would have had the football. Now we got a penalty flag holding on Libertyville. Going to bring it back. One mistake after the next. Well, the Hersey Huskies. Looking a lot like the Cleveland Browns in their orange pants and brown jerseys.
Now they're going to wear off that logo as the year goes on. This is the 11th game of the season for these schools in about 11 and a half weeks.
And it's a big toll. It's their 12th game, actually. And it's a big load on kids who also have to worry about schoolwork. So it's a big mental and physical drain on these kids, but they pull it off real well. 1st and 20 on the 22 now for Libertyville.
Anderson, this is Poramsky. They went off tackle on... He gained about 5, but they'll still be way short of a first down.
Libertyville just kind of darts up to the line of scrimmage, don't they?
They do. 2nd and 15. Hersey 10, Libertyville 7. Midway through the 3rd quarter of this quarterfinal playoff game. Williamson.
Good power move.
Very strong runner.
Yeah.
He was stood up by 3 Hersey tacklers and still managed to stay on his feet. Young Mad, defensive tackle, and on the stop.
3rd and 8. Ball on the 33. They've got to throw the football here. You know, there's no sense in running the football right here. They're not exactly in the lead, and they can't afford to play conservatively. They've got to really throw the football here.
Ray Flores into the game as a wide receiver. They go with Christensen as a tight end now. So they've got 1 wide out into the football game with 2 running backs. 3rd and 7. They go with an option play. Anderson pitches to Williamson.
No, nothing. That was a nice, that's a beautiful tackle by John Guillaume. You know, I don't understand that, Bert. I really don't. Why on earth wouldn't you throw the football on a 3rd and 7?
Well, I think,
Let's take a look at the replay and watch number 3 here. Great pursuit and a great tackle right there by number 3, John Guillaume. Good pursuit. And that really isn't too hard to detect. And again, Libertyville's going to have to take some chances if they're going to get on the board. They cannot expect to hold Hersey all afternoon.
Shanholzer will punt on 4th down. Kind of a short snap.
Not a bad kick at all. Fair catch. Yeah, 30-yard line.
They had good downfield coverage that time by Jason Graham, so they go for the fair catch, and we'll start with decent field position. I think Dale Christensen, Bob, knows that you try and pass against Hersey.
The 35-yard punt. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry, Bert.
They're going to have their hands full trying to pass against Hersey. They've got such a good pass rush. So.
I understand that, but they're really not going to gain much yardage doing that, especially on a 3rd down when you want to keep the football.
Williams on a trap play. And he fumbled the ball.
Well, Libertyville got it back. Now, well, who's got it? Libertyville's got it back.
And no flags.
And no flags this time. Well, see, I guess they didn't have to pass the ball. I guess they knew they were going to punt it and then get a turnover. Here's the replay on it. Now he's hit there by John Shanholzer, and it coughed up the ball. Well, good field position now for Libertyville. Ball's on the 37-yard line. 5 minutes and 29 seconds left in the 3rd quarter.
Their only touchdown came as a result of a big play, so they're in excellent field position here at the Hersey 37. Let's see what they do. They throw on 1st down. Anderson with a lot of time.
He's got all day to throw.
He's got to make it complete. Scott Claiborne with his first catch of the afternoon and up for a 1st down at the 12-yard line.
You see, Bert, they can throw the football, and that's what they should have done on that 3rd down of the last series. They can throw the football. Of course, let's take a look at the replay. And listen, when you have this much time to throw, you can complete a pass. He has all day to throw this football and completes it right on the sidelines.
You know the difference, Bob, though, on 1st down, I don't think anybody expected them to throw.
Well, that might be true, but on 3rd down and 9, you have to throw the football.
I agree. They spotted at the 11, 1st down, and 10 for Libertyville.
Libertyville's got to come away with a score here, no question about it. Now,
fumble it. And Hersey came away with it. That was a bad pitch that time to Shanholzer. And that really hurts if you're a Libertyville Wildcat fan.
Mistakes will kill you. You get down that close and turn the football over, because you don't know when you're going to get back down there again. Let's take a look at the replay. This is just simply a very bad pitch, no question about it. Shanholzer is not to blame for this. Couldn't get a handle on it.
That's the 3rd time this afternoon that Anderson has tried that play and that they fumbled the football.
Yeah. Well, that really stings. That really hurts to get down that close, because you don't know when you're going to be down there again. When you're that close, you got to cash in.
From their own 19, Vick. Tackled in the backfield. His progress, though, may have gotten him a couple of yards. Jake Hutzman on the stop. They're going to give him a yard.
4 minutes and 20 seconds left. 2nd down and 8 from the 21.
Ellinger and Deerhog are both wide. Sabatello in the slot. Vick is the lone setback.
And they've stopped him pretty good this afternoon. Libertyville's beaten themselves. There's a penalty flag, another one. I think these referees are going to get tendinitis from the amount of flags they saw today. I mean, they might be. That's a procedure penalty against Hersey.
You know,
that'll bring the ball back.
This is the first time we've seen Sam Daniels and this crew, and sometimes different crews will have different tendencies. Sometimes you'll see more false starts called, and
yeah, but the bottom line is it's a sloppy game. I don't care who's calling the game. This has not been a well-played football game.
2nd and 13. Screen to Vick, and he dropped it. That could have been a lateral. And Vick did a very smart thing in picking up a pass that he dropped.
I think that's right.
Brings up a 3rd down and 11. Jeff Williams goes in, Sabatello out. So Williams comes in with the play from head coach Bruce Glover.
3rd and 11, ball on the 18. 10-7, Hersey clinging to a 3-point lead. Libertyville just missed a golden opportunity.
There's some confusion between Deerhog and Johnson as to where to line up, and they spend a timeout. That's a costly timeout.
It is, because now they've used up 2. And in a game this close, you might need it down the stretch. They've used up 2.
We've got 2:59 to go, 3rd quarter. Hersey 10, Libertyville 7. Remember, there are 8 teams left at the 6A level, and after the games are played today, you'll be down to essentially the final 4. Also known as the semifinals of the IHSA state playoffs. So this very important game.
Dick Christensen. At Libertyville, he is 83 and 53 for the career, the same record. Bruce Glover, a losing record at Hersey, but to his credit, he's turned a 1-8 team around from last year to a 9-2 team this year, and part of that is due to the maturity of Hersey. A young team last year, a lot of sophomores. This year, more experienced, a senior-oriented team. And the cheerleaders are exceptional also, we might add, for Hersey High.
3rd and 11 from their own 18-yard line.
Let's see what they do here.
Johnson in motion, Tobin play actions. Going deep. Underthrown. It was intended for Jeff Williams. The coverage was there by Ray Flores, the defensive back.
So Libertyville will get the ball back. We think, we don't know. Between the fumbles and the penalties we've had today, one cannot be sure of anything.
Bookout will punt. We haven't seen snaps that have been clean today either. The snaps have been short.
Bookout needs to get a good punt off here, Bert. There's no question about it, because if he gets a bad one off, again, Libertyville will have good field position. It's a bad snap. Nice kick.
A lot of hang time.
Yeah.
They're going to let it bounce. Takes a wildcat bounce at the 50-yard line.
Be down at the 49.
How about get good field position late in the 3rd quarter?
2 minutes and 40 seconds left with Hersey leading 10-7.
.32-yard punt by Bookout. Actually, it was longer than that because of where he kicked the ball from, but it goes as a 32-yard kick.
You know, more on the punt in just a second.
Anderson with a long count. Williams fumbles it out of bounds.
Actually a high pitch back, but still, that should have been held.
Williamson should have held that. On the punts, I've often thought it's so unfair that you measure punts from the line of scrimmage as opposed to where the kicker actually kicks it from.
Second and 9. Kirk Christensen is in as a tight end this time. They go with a double tight end formation, 2 backs. Flores is wide to the right. Williamson. He got close to 4 yards. Mark Gunther, the man that made the interception, in on the stop for Hersey.
Let's take a look now at Frank Cablenet, the All-Stater that's going to Illinois. Here he is, number 73. Look at him pursue. Look at him pursue. He actually grabbed the runner, slowed him down. The tackle was made. He's very quick. And as we said, the inspirational leader on defense for Hersey High School.
Crowd comes to life on 3rd and 6 for the Wildcats. Anderson will throw. He's got
good protection. Yeah, good pass right over the middle.
Rob Caldwell with the completion. He's got enough for a first down.
Yeah, a lot of time to throw it right over the middle. That's all you have to do. Throw it right under the coverage, and you'll get your yards. And I really think Libertyville, here's a replay on it. He's got all the time in the world to throw. Yeah, right under the coverage, right there. And he's pulled down, but he gains enough for the first down on the 39-yard line. And that's what Libertyville's got to do. They've got to throw a few more of those short passes to mix it up a little bit and gain the yardage.
They executed well on that.
Yeah, they did.
They go back to the run. Poramsky scampers for close to 5 yards before he's hit by Gilliam. Quarter, Hersey up by the score of 10-7. A long count by Anderson. He gave it to the up back, Williamson. It looked like the center jumped, but they did not call a penalty at all.
Well, thank goodness we've had enough penalties called for one afternoon. Do you think we can go maybe the 4th quarter without one penalty, Bert?
I don't know.
I'll bet you a quarter we can't. Gentlemen's bet, of course. Bert and I don't wager.
Of course. I've never been known to wager. You could ask anybody, especially Jim Mitchell. I've never been known to wager at all.
Well, I'm sure nobody really cares about that. I'll still bet you a quarter, okay, just for the heck of it.
All right, why not?
That's the end of the third quarter.
It's the Hersey Huskies leading Libertyville in this quarterfinal playoff game 10-7. You're watching high school football on Cablenet. We'll be back.
If you spent too much to heat your home last winter, consider this. 60% of all heat loss is through windows. Replace your old windows with new thermal-insulated replacement windows from Superior Exteriors of Park Ridge. Double-pane thermal-insulated windows keep warm air in and cold air out. Beautiful wood replacement windows. Easy to clean, energy efficient. Only $150 installed. $150 installed. Only at Superior Exteriors of Park Ridge. Top quality at an affordable price.
All right, Bert Groner along with Bob Hillman here at Hersey High School in Arlington Heights. Middle of the afternoon on a nice November day. It's mid-November. Temperature at game time was about 50 degrees with a brisk wind out of the east at about 15 or 20 miles an hour. It is still blowing out of the east, probably about the same speed. And the Hersey Huskies, as we enter the 4th quarter, lead this football game by the score of 10-7 against the Libertyville Wildcats.
Greg Williamson of Libertyville rushed for 43 yards in the 3rd quarter. He's got 85 yards rushing on the day, so he's had quite an afternoon. 12 more minutes of football left. The winner of this game goes on to meet the winner of the Elgin-Naperville game.
Third and 1 from the 31 for the Wildcats. Flores is wide to the left. They go with a double tight end formation. Poramsky, Williamson, the 2 setbacks. Poramsky.
He might not have gotten it. You know, he might not have gotten that, Bert. It's going to be awfully close, and they should measure.
He had to get inside the 30-yard line.
I don't know if they did. They should measure that.
It'll be very close either way.
Oh, I guess, no, I think they're going to.
No more than half the length of the football either way.
Yeah, they're going to have to bring out the change.
Libertyville thinks they have it.
Well, sure they do. You know, sometimes you point and you say first down and you hope to influence the officials, but the chains don't lie, and that will tell the story. It looks as if they might have it. Brian Peramsky. Not a sterling afternoon. Yeah, they do have it, so Libertyville was right.
That's Bob Frisk, the fine editor of the Daily Herald, the newspaper.
He is the sports editor for the Arlington Daily Herald. And he's attired very casually on a fall afternoon.
Yeah, he should be out at the beach with that hat.
Yeah, 1st and 10, the ball on the 29-yard line.
1st and 10. Had they been playing with a Nerf football, it would be 4th down, but it's a real football, so it's 1st down. Yeah. From the 29,
they are in good shape, and they really have got to just take their time and get down and score on this series. They really do.
Intended for, oh, what a play! He can go. Touchdown.
Oh, what a play.
What a great call by the Wildcats.
Yeah, you know, that was a perfect timing play, and you can see it being set up. We'll look at it on the replay, I'm sure, but that was a well-executed play. And let's take a look at the replay. Watch the timing. Watch Anderson. He's going to hit Peramsky. And see the timing there? Perfect. Right behind the defenders, and he is long gone. That is one outstanding football play right there. And it couldn't have come at a better time for Libertyville. They've taken the lead in the 4th quarter.
Graham is in for the extra point. Bill Graham, he's a good kicker. I'll bet, Bob, they were waiting all week to try that play. That was
if they were,
perfect time.
Yeah, they picked the right time to do it. If they were saving that one for the 4th quarter, they picked the right time to do it. And we got a penalty flag again. Well, I guess I lose the bet, don't I? I said there wouldn't be any calls. Offside against Hersey.
Offside. Did you say that, or did I say that?
I don't remember. For a quarter, who cares?
Yeah, I know. I was thinking of keeping my mouth shut and being a nice guy, but I just didn't have the heart to do it.
Brian Peramsky, we were saying he was not having a great afternoon running the football, but boy, he made up for it right there. And if that holds up, that'll be the play of the day. Anderson passing this afternoon, 4 for 8, 55 yards, and of course, that touchdown right there.
Mark Sunderland was the cornerback on him, man-to-man coverage, and just a little play-action fake was enough to give him enough distance to get by Sunderland. That was a great call.
There's Todd Anderson, as we said, 4 for 8 this afternoon, 55 yards. Wasn't it Peramsky that ran 69 yards for that touchdown that was called back? Well, now he really has something to talk about, one that really counted.
No, that was Sabatello.
Oh, that was Sabatello, that's correct. Now the kick is good, 14-10. That's true, Sabatello.
11:35 left in the 4th quarter. A lot of time left, but the Hersey Huskies on offense will have to get things going.
Well, we were saying they've got to open it up somewhat. They've got to throw the football. You can't just rely on the run. And so they've opened it up, and it paid off for them on that series for sure.
This is a different situation for this Husky team, though, Bob. We've seen them enough on Cablenet, and usually this stage of the game, they're up by quite a few points, and they can relax a little bit. We haven't seen them a lot trying to come from behind, so this is kind of a new position for them to be in. Johnson and Williams, they're both excellent at returning kickoffs. They're very fast.
There's still a lot of time in this game, 11 minutes and 35 seconds.
Bill Graham, the senior, will do the kicking.
They want good coverage on this kickoff. They do not want to let Hersey run the ball back a whole lot of yards.
Williams across the 20. Out to the 31. That's not a bad return. There were a lot of people there that he had to get by, so they'll start at 1st and 10.
Big series right now. Big series for the Libertyville defense.
I'm sorry, Bert.
They played very well defensively.
Yeah, they really have. Yeah, when you stop to think Hersey's offensive strength, they've held them to 10 points on their home field. I think that's quite an accomplishment. Libertyville has played well defensively.
Pitch, Sabatello. He's tripped, still on his feet. Sabatello, beautiful run across the 35 to the 37-yard line.
John Shanholzer just missed that tackle, and Hersey was able to turn the loss into a gain. Just missed him around the ankles.
And a reminder, coverage of this game, Hersey and Libertyville, is sponsored by Sabatello Tree Service. For a free estimate from certified arborists, call Sabatello at 577-BEAR, 577-BARR. From planting, trimming to removal, call Sabatello Tree Service in Arlington Heights. 577-BEAR is the phone number.
2nd and 4, no first down. Great tackle by Kirk Christensen. Great tackle by Kirk Christensen.
Third and 3.
Third and 3, gained a yard.
Did you pass on 3rd and 3 here?
Would I pass on 3rd and 3? No, I wouldn't.
All right, we'll see what they do.
So they pass on 3rd and 3. Good call.
Deerhog, his first catch of the day in the Wildcat territory.
That was a well-executed pass.
They've been trying to complete that type of pass throughout the afternoon, and they just couldn't connect. They did there, though.
I think both teams now are starting to open it up a little bit.
First and 10 from the 46. Hersey with the football. They trail by 4 points, 14-10. Tobin option Sabatello. And he's hit by Shanholzer. That's a fine tackle by John Shanholzer.
And Jason Donahue was the one that set it up, because Jason Donahue slowed him down and allowed Shanholzer to come in for the kill. Just what a wide receiver ought to be. Lanky and tall. 6'2", 160 pounds. A senior. Still lots of time, 9 minutes and 8 seconds. 14-10. Libertyville upsetting Hersey at the present time.
2nd and 9, Tobin to the air. Pass underthrown to Deerhog. I don't think it was tipped.
It was tipped.
Was it tipped?
Yeah, the ball was tipped. I'd like to see who got their hands on the ball, because that was a good play. Otherwise, it might have been complete.
Deerhog running a little curl, was open.
Yeah. Here are the numbers on Duke Tobin. Not a good afternoon. 2 for 19, 19 yards.
But remember that he is only a junior.
Yeah, he'll be back next year.
He will. 3rd and 9. Tobin was tripped up, fumbled the football.
Who's got it?
Tobin at the quarterback keeper. Was tripped up by 63.
Bob Egedy. Bob Egedy tripped him up. Let's take a look at the replay. Watch number 63. Watch 63. Watch 63. See, well, you couldn't see well. He tripped him up. He fell, fumbled the football, and they're going to have to kick it away on 4th and 4.
4th and 4. The crowd at Hersey wanted them to go for it on 4th and 4.
There's no way you can do that.
No way. That's a calculated move by Bruce Glover, and you got a good kicker like Bookout, you could really pin Libertyville deep in their own territory here. So I think it's a good coaching move.
Absolutely.
Penalty flag thrown, and Hersey will be called for delay a game. They just wanted to buy 5 more yards.
This has been a seesaw game. Hersey jumped out to a 3-0 lead. Libertyville took a 7-3 lead, and it was 10-7 Hersey, 14-10 Libertyville.
Shanholzer and Baramsky, the 2 punt safeties deep for Libertyville. This is a good snap. Bookout.
Nice kick.
Spiral.
Nice hang time. Nice hang time. There you go. They downed that ball right at the 1. Is it in? No, that's down at the 1-yard line.
And just as we were saying, that's why you don't go for it on 4th and 4. Now, that is exactly how you do it. Is that what is known as the coffin corner, or is that what is known as the coffin corner? That ball is on the 1-foot line. I don't think it could be any closer to being in the end zone. And Libertyville really got their work cut out for them, and Hersey would like to create the turnover. A 44-yard kick.
Quarterback sneak Anderson.
All you want to do is just get some breathing room right there.
I got to tell you, Bob, I've seen a lot of games in my time. That was, under the circumstance, the best punt and best coverage I've ever seen. And I'm talking about games I've seen at the pro level, too. Just, you can't cover a ball any better than that.
You can't, and you can't kick it really better than that either under the circumstances. That's a pressure kick. But Bookout is an excellent place kicker and an excellent punter. So it's 2nd down and 8. The ball's on the 2-yard line. Hersey would just like to contain Libertyville right here and get good field position, work down the clock, and score.
2nd down, 8. Anderson with 2 setbacks. Williamson and Paransky, another quarterback sneak. They go left tackle. Maybe a yard at best, but he was really stacked up.
Well, what do you do here, Professor? 3rd and 6. It's a passing situation, yet you're deep in your own territory, and you don't want to risk an interception. What's the call?
Well, the way they played today, I think they're going to run the football one more time and try and punt their way out of trouble. Remember, they're the ones that had the lead.
Boy, you talk about if they have to punt out of that situation, you talk about pressure on a punter to get away a good kick.
There's a big key, though, Bob, in this game, too. I'll talk about in a moment. 3rd down and 6. 6.5 to go, 4th quarter. Libertyville 14, Hersey 10.
I try a short pass. They're not going to do it. They're going to play it safe.
Williamson, a gain of 2. That will not get him a first down, but they will punt. And now, Bob, I was going to say, Hersey has spent 2 timeouts early in the 3rd quarter that were really, they were necessary at the time, but are very costly because they only have 1 left. And when you're down by 4 points in a playoff game, you don't want to be late in the 4th quarter with 1 timeout left.
And what do you do if you're Hersey and get good field position? Do you try to control it and go for the last score and control the clock? Or do you score as quick as you can?
Shanholzer will punt. This will come from the goal line. This is a knuckleball kick. Williamson fumbles it and falls down at the 36-yard line.
Jeff Williams. Well, they'll start from their 36-yard line, and the question is now, do you control the football, try to run the clock down, and just eat up the clock, or do you score as quickly as you can?
I think they go into their offense. I don't think they have to rush to try and get points on the board here. 5.5 to go, 4th quarter. They're down by 4.
They come down to this series right here.
Going deep.
Oh, just overthrown.
Intended for Deerhog.
Well-thrown ball, just a little bit too long, and Deerhog had to go off his fingertips. Well-thrown football.
Ray Flores, the cornerback.
Let's take a look at the replay, Bert. Well-thrown football. Look at that spiral, just a little long and off the fingertips of Deerhog. Well, I'll tell you one thing. They weren't playing conservatively there. They were going all out.
2nd and 10 from the 36. Johnson, and he's
big
hole,
huge hole. Oh!
Tripped up at the 25-yard line. Mike Hall with a good ankle tackle to stop Johnson from getting any more yards.
Well, I'll tell you what, as we said, there have been a lot of penalties in this game, but down the stretch in the 4th quarter, it's been an exciting game.
Down the stretch, this has been a superb football game.
5 minutes and 16 seconds left, ball on the 25-yard line. 1st and 10 for Hersey. They trail by 4 points. What a finish to this football game. A big test for Libertyville's defense.
Tobin goes play action, going deep for Ellinger. Overthrown. John Strouts was on Craig Ellinger, another good receiver. They really have him here at Hersey.
Still a lot of time. 5 minutes left in the football game. There's a lot of pressure on these kids. They're in the quarterfinals of the 6A.
Libertyville 14, Hersey 10. Exactly 5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter.
Draw play.
Vic.
Oh, great tackle.
Hammered at the line of scrimmage.
Great tackle by Kirk Christensen. That's one super tackle. Because there was some room. A great tackle by Christensen.
Third and 8.
Third and 8.
I think that's all right, though, Bob. They've got to run a play like that. When you go deep twice.
Let's take a look at the replay and the tackle by Christensen. Watch number 1 in white. Watch 1 in white. See, he just reached out and tripped up the runner. And thwarted a big game.
3rd and 9, Ellinger and Deerhog, the two wideouts. Dan Sabatello in motion. Tobin under pressure, unloads it. In with Deerhog. That was a well-thrown football.
It was catchable, Bert.
Definitely catchable, in very tight coverage, though.
It was a well-thrown ball in coverage, but catchable, certainly by Deerhog. Well, it's 4th and 9. Field goal does you no good.
Not an easy field goal. That would be a 40-plus yard field goal, and now they spend their last time out.
Well, there's still time. Do you punt? Or do you go for it? There's still 4 minutes and 16 seconds. Hersey can hope to get the ball back in decent field position. But they've taken their last time out.
If Bookout were to try one, it would be about a 41, maybe a 42-yard attempt into a crosswind. So that's not a lock.
No, but you see, it doesn't do any good because it only makes it 14-13.
So 4th and 9, they've got nothing to lose by going for it because they need at least 4 points to tie.
That's true, and if they throw a pass and it's incomplete, they still have Libertyville pinned back pretty good.
Right, then they wouldn't be giving up a whole lot of field position. So
that's probably right to go on 4th and 9.
Yeah, they've got nothing to lose.
Well, the fourth quarter's been worth the price of admission alone. It's been very exciting.
Now you're Bruce Glover. He's the man in the white sweater walking off the field. What do you call? Do you go to Deerhog, their outstanding receiver? Ellinger, also an excellent receiver.
Well, the season could boil down to this play right here. Everything you worked for the entire season could boil down to this 4th and 9 on the 24.
Tobin going to the air.
Got a lot of time. He's going to run it. And he's got it. He's got the first down. What a great play that was. Oh, marvelous play.
Not a design play, but it sure is effective.
You know, that is one super play under those conditions. Let's take a look at the replay. Now, you see, he wants to throw, but he can't find anybody. You see, now he sees the opening, and he's able to stay on his feet and gain the yardage for the first down. That is a super play right there.
First and
by Duke Tobin. First and goal now from the 8. 3 minutes and 52 seconds.
Dick. Through a wall, maybe 2, maybe 3.
Now you keep it on the ground, just kind of grind it out, chew up as much clock as you possibly can, and hope to score.
They go right behind their center, Clay Chapman.
That was the play of the game right there, because the season was over possibly for Hersey if they didn't make that 4th and 9.
3 minutes, 20 seconds to go in the fourth quarter. Libertyville 14, Hersey 10. Tobin, option play, touchdown.
Well, Duke Tobin has not had a great day passing the football, but he sure, especially on the last 2 plays, has had a great day running. Here's another keeper. Watch it again. Just finds the hole and is wide open for the touchdown.
That makes it 16-14, and this is an important extra point by John Bookout. There appears to be a player injured out on the field.
Mike Pop, let's see who's down. We can't see who's down. Tobin has had 3 carries for 28 yards rushing. And the last 2 certainly were the biggest carries he's made. Here's Duke Tobin. Not a great day passing, but those last 2 runs were super. Last week he was only 2 of 8 passing, and they scored 32 points, or what was it last week? They scored 30 points. We have an injured Libertyville player down on the ground. 3 minutes and 15 seconds left. As we said, it's been a seesaw game. There have been 5 lead changes in the game.
But really, this has blossomed into an outstanding football game.
It really has. A lot of penalties in the first half, 9 to be exact. There have been some. Here's one more look at the scoring play. See? Just finds the hole and keeps it. A heads-up play by Duke Tobin.
Now Deerhog will hold. Look out for the extra point. Right there.
All right, now, you are the coach for Libertyville. What do you tell your guys now in a situation like this? They're young kids. There's a lot at stake. There's only 3 minutes and 15 seconds. What do you tell them on the bench now?
Well, I think it depends on where they get the football after the return, but I think that Dale Christensen is going to be telling them just go out there and execute. There's really not much more than they can do.
This game cannot end in a tie, obviously, so they play overtime. So, you know, they don't really have to score. All they have to do is get in field goal range. The longest field goal this year for Libertyville, only 25 yards. So they don't want to go much beyond that. But this game would go into overtime, so you can play for a field goal. What an exciting game this has turned out to be.
It really has.
And we have it on Cablenet. We get all the exciting stuff. Not a great kickoff.
Horamsky behind the wall. Good coverage.
Heads-up tackle right there. Well, that was a heads-up tackle. And you know who made the tackle? Greg Vick, the running back. All right, take a look at the scoring now. In 1987, Libertyville's averaged 15 points a game, Hersey 31. So Hersey far below their average.
From the 19, they go right to the air. Anderson gets protection. Intended for Williamson. The pass was thrown out of bounds. 2nd and 10. And they need a couple of first downs here, Bob Hellman.
Yeah, they do. And they also have to remember to hang on to the football. Just hang on to the football, protect the football at all costs. You don't want to turn it over now because the season's over if you do. Still a lot of time, 2 minutes and 46 seconds. But those timeouts that were called early in the second half really may play a big factor down the stretch, Bert.
Definitely. Very costly, the timeouts used. Hersey, I do believe, has no timeouts left, and I think Libertyville has 2.
Well, Hersey's not going to need the timeouts if they can hold Libertyville here.
Second and 10 from the 19. The Wildcats, their backs against the wall. They trailed 17-14. Anderson loops it, incomplete. Intended for Ray Flores. Pass was overthrown. 3rd down and 10. And you can bet that the Hersey Huskies will be coming on this play.
Yeah, they'll be blitzing here. Well, give Libertyville's defense a lot of credit. They've played a whale of a game against Hersey, who's averaged 31 points a game. We've said it all afternoon.
and especially to hold them on their home field like this, that Libertyville defense does deserve a lot of credit. Hersey held to 2 touchdowns below their average.
3rd and 10. A lot of time. Complete. Rob Caldwell. He's short of a first down, but they did get out to about the 28-yard line. And on 4th down.
Pass. Great pass thrown into coverage. When you throw a pass like that into coverage, it's got to be good. Let's take a look at the replay. See this? He's going to throw into a lot of coverage. But he threw it well. Well, it's 4th and 1.
The 28, and they've got to go for it here.
Season's over here, or it could be extended. Probably a keeper, no? Oh, yes.
Karamsky's got a first down. That's a big play. The clock will stop with 1:52 to go in the quarter as they move the chains.
(17-14). Hersey leading. 1:52 left. The ball on the 32-yard line. And they're starting the clock right now. They just stopped it to move the chains, as Bert said.
To the air on first down. Christensen, did he catch it or trap it? That is a completion.
And the clock will not stop. He caught it in bounds. Now they're going to have to line up in a hurry. But see, they're losing valuable time off the clock. Now the clock has stopped.
Because of the confusion as to where to spot the football, that's a big break for Libertyville because it stops the clock. He did have a first down. I don't know what they were measuring about, but they have 1.5 minutes to work with right now. They trail by 3.
This is what high school football is all about. 1st and 10 on the 43-yard line. A lot of time.
Very good. Going deep.
He's open, overthrown.
The underled is #1 receiver, Ray Flores. That stops the clock with 1:12 to go in the 4th quarter.
You got to keep throwing the football now because that's the only way you're going to stop the clock. Either.
And there are 2 penalty flags.
Yeah.
Defensive holding. So they will replay the down instead of first down and 10. It'll be first down. But they'll still have a first down and 10, but it'll be spotted at the 47.
A nail biter, Bert. A nail biter.
Definitely.
1st and 10 on the 47-yard line.
Anderson to the air once more. A lot of time. Airs it out.
Now that was a foolish play.
Kurt Vanslow with the interception.
And that's it. Libertyville's season is over. Well, I don't know what he was thinking, but he was nowhere near the receiver. Nowhere near, not within 5 yards of the receiver, Bert. I don't know if the pattern was blown or what. Let's take a look at the replay.
I think so.
The pattern must have been blown because, now look, here isn't a white shirt within 5 yards. There isn't a white shirt anywhere around. When that's intercepted, the pattern must have been blown. And a pretty good run back.
I think he was trying to lead. Bob, I think he was trying to lead Scott Claiborne.
Vanslow, his 6th interception this year, tops on the Hersey Huskies. I'm sorry, Bert.
I'm wondering if we can get another look at it again. It looked like Scott Claiborne was trying to cut in toward the middle on a post and slipped and fell.
It might have been. I don't know if we'll be able to see it on the replay. but there was just nobody within 5 yards of that football.
Watch 23, that's Scott Claiborne, the wide receiver. You'll see him in the lower left of your screen. He kind of slips and falls.
Yes, you're absolutely right. And there was nobody there. And, well, that's what we said. It must have been something on the pattern, because there's no way a quarterback is going to throw a ball that far off the mark. Well, an unfortunate way for Libertyville's season to end. But all Hersey has to do now is run out the clock. And this was not an easy victory for the Hersey Huskies. They'll advance, but they'll know they played a darn good Libertyville team. No question about it. There's 45 seconds left.
There's Mark Gunther, the man, number 50 on the left. He returned an interception 43 yards for a touchdown this afternoon.
So who would you say, I'm going to put you on the spot, who would you say is the MVP of this game, unofficially?
Wow. I'd have to say Bookout with that punt, because were it not for that punt, they wouldn't have had field position to score. That was an unbelievable kick. And I'm not going to take anything away from the interception by Mark Gunther. That was an unbelievable interception.
Yeah.
But
and of course, how about Duke Tobin? A couple of big runs.
He was tough when he had to be tough.
Yes, he was. No question about it. There have been some outstanding plays in this game. There's also been some sloppy play. But give Hersey a lot of credit, an awful lot of credit. They've taken a 1-8 season, and Bruce Glover has turned it into a 10-2 season. Their 12th game of the year, and there will be a 13th for Hersey High. 38 seconds left. They lead 17-14. And barring some miracle, they're going to advance in the 6A playoffs. Fred, I'd just like to say it was a pleasure working with you.
A pleasure working with you too, Bob Hillman. I enjoyed it immensely, and the end of our season too, as far as football goes, on Cablenet.
And how about Jim Mitchell and the crew down in the truck, who do an outstanding job week after week?
Excellent job, an excellent job. We come here in the booth and probably have all the fun, but they definitely should get all the credit for putting all this together. Winter sports, don't forget, that's coming up. Boys and girls basketball, hockey, girls gymnastics. And they are going to run the clock out here.
Yep.
30 seconds left.
That's all they're going to do.
The numbers on Duke Tobin this afternoon, 2 of 13 for 19 yards. He's rushed for 28 yards, but one of them was a touchdown.
Exactly, exactly. Do we have a player down?
We do.
Well, at this point in the game, you hate to see that, because the game, for all intents and purposes, is over. See if we can figure out who it is.
Rob Caldwell is the man down for Libertyville. Todd Anderson on the afternoon, Bob, 6 of 14, 73 yards. He got all his protection late in the game when they really had to put something together.
But that Libertyville defense, again, deserves a lot of credit for how they handled Hersey. A team coming in averaging 31 points a game.
Keith Reinhardt of the Daily Herald. We had a chance to talk to him last week during halftime of the game against Lions. Had a nice taped interview with Keith. A reminder, we'd like to thank Superior Exteriors of Park Ridge and Sabatello Tree Service in Arlington Heights for sponsoring today's game. Their support has helped to make this programming possible, so a big thanks to them this afternoon.
Well,
we've got a break.
If you're there, hey, there's one of our fine cameramen. Who is that? Do we know Jimmy? Who is that? Let's give him some credit.
Jeff Rylander.
Yeah, he's been taking just one of the people taking fine pictures you've been seeing here from Hersey High School this afternoon. Well, boy, I hope this injury isn't too serious, because he's been down for a long time.
Van Slow, the man that intercepted the pass from Anderson, number 22. Second week in a row that he's had an interception.
You wonder why there aren't more injuries on the high school level, considering that a lot of these guys play both offense, defense, and special teams. And thank goodness there aren't.
think a lot could do with the fact that most of these games they play on natural grass as opposed to the turf, which really it's been proven more and more the turf is really detrimental to the health of football players. It's a really injury factor.
Yeah, some happy Hersey High School cheerleaders, and they've got everything to be happy about because they will advance. But that's a good point because that artificial turf just absolutely does nothing as far as the health of football players are concerned. Well, I wonder. Recap the scoring. Hersey jumped off to a 3-0 lead on a book-out 22-yard field goal. That held until Todd Anderson went over for Libertyville on a 2-yard keep to make it 7-3. And we might add that both these quarterbacks, Duke Tobin and Todd Anderson, certainly know how to run the football when the occasion calls for it. Mark Gunter on the 43-yard interception return gave Hersey a 10-7 lead at the half. Libertyville took the lead 14-10, and then you saw the Tobin keep and Hersey 17-14, and that's probably going to be the final score.
And in a game that started out kind of sloppily with quite a few penalties, and Libertyville on their first series of plays from scrimmage going without a quarterback and not looking good at all, and then Anderson, of course, had gone the rest of the way, but this has turned into an excellent game.
Well, they've got the ambulance out here. Now there's another one of our fine cameramen.
Randy
Reason. Hi, Randy. There he is, Randy Reason. Got a great crew here at Cablenet. A lot of good programming on it, too. What do we know about Elgin and Naperville?
Well, Elgin, the Upstate 8 runner-up. It's amazing the way these things come to me, you know?
Right. Just, you know, it's amazing that you can have this off the top of your head with absolutely no help whatsoever.
I know, isn't it?
Totally amazing. They beat Lakewood and Stream Park.
Lake Park and Streamwood.
That's what I said. I just wanted to make sure you were listening. And apparently you were in the playoffs. We, of course, thank the many people that feed us information up here in the booth as well, because if we had to have all this in our heads, there's no way that we could memorize all this stuff. Well, whoever's been down has been down for a while.
That's Rob Caldwell of Libertyville.
All right, Naperville, 26-8 winner over Elgin. So Naperville advances and will go on to meet Hersey, the winner of this game. And the game will be at Elgin, so this is Hersey's final home game of the year, and they go out on a positive note. And of course, a great victory for the seniors in their final home game. They're going to have to take him off on a stretcher. Rob Caldwell, the tight end, the defensive end. He's a senior. If we can get word before the game is over on what has happened to him. See, we can't see from up here. There are so many people surrounding him. We can't see if they're working on a knee, or obviously if he had the wind knocked out of him, he wouldn't have been down this long. So we obviously don't know what's going on. But maybe we'll get some word. One thing you hope it's not is any kind of a concussion or a head injury.
The mascot. And that's the outfit you want to have on now. It's getting cold out here.
Well, I've got my brand new overcoat that I just bought, so I'm nice and warm. You're just in a sport coat and a slim sweater and a shirt and tie.
I'm wearing kind of my usual montage of clothing.
And I might add, you look very dapper.
That is the word I would use too.
Absolutely dapper.
Yeah.
No question about it.
Well, they're going to take Caldwell off on a stretcher.
Yeah. Here we are. Okay, here's my overcoat right here.
Very nice.
And you can see, if you got a color set, and most people do, a beautiful light blue, powder blue jacket and a dark blue tie with red polka dot. It's beautiful. We're just fashion plates up here. It's tough to see, I know, through the glass. And speaking of fashion plates,
wow,
what is that?
It's not Paul. It's not Paul Morris.
Is that?
But it's not his hair either.
I would hope not.
If it is, it's amazing what people do when they get on camera, isn't it?
I know.
Very happy Hersey High School bench. The concern now for Rob Caldwell.
Well, if you're Dale Christensen and Libertyville, the head coach, you got to give him credit for playing a heck of a football game. They're taking Rob Caldwell off on a stretcher.
Yeah, and they've got him tied down, obviously, so he won't fall. Well, as we said, we'll try to find out what is wrong with him, but there's only 29 seconds left in the game. Libertyville will wind up 8-4, and Hersey will advance with a 10-2 record.
Remember Buffalo Grove, they won the Class 6A title last year, and they're from the same conference as Hersey. So the Mid-Suburban League really has blossomed into one of the powers in the state of Illinois. Remember, a team like East St. Louis, a team that's been in the championship game 3 of the last 4 years, and they are still alive. They are playing this afternoon. So it's possible that you could see a game between Hersey and East St. Louis. Very possible. And the crowd counts
there you
it
see
down.
The clock. Yep. 5. Sit. Yeah, delay of game penalty. Sure, why not? All you do is fall on the football now. So you run one play instead of two. That's, you know, you don't run the risk of fumbling on 2 plays. You only risk of doing it on 1.
This will be the last play of the football game.
Barring a miracle.
Yeah, they take a safety.
Yeah, they take a safety, and that's pretty smart to do. Why not? Take the safety, the clock runs out, you win 17-16. And there you see the celebration on the field for the Hersey Huskies. And a sad Libertyville team walks off.
So Hersey advances to the IHSA 6A semifinals with a 1-point win over Libertyville. You're watching high school football on Cablenet. We'll be back to wrap things up. Don't go away.